Hello, preppers and homesteaders or preppersteaders. I'm still going to use that saying. It has been 1 year since I quit my job, sold our old homestead, and moved to the Ozark Mountains. Has it been worth it? Yes and no. And I'll get into that right now. Moving was hard. It was difficult. That is true. Lots of struggles on this property, lots of struggles with the move, but as a homesteader, prepper, the move has been all good. There's only a few negatives, and I will get into that. But I'm gonna go over the property, what we've done, what made the move great, just why it's been worth it. Quitting the job, that was tough. I'll get into that right now. So I quit my job. I did that at 48 years old, younger than I wanted to retire. And the reason I retired is, semi-retired, I guess you could say. We knew in the area we wanted to move to, there really isn't a lot of jobs. In my field, there were 0 jobs. We knew that going into the move that my income would be gone. But we also knew with the move that our cost of living would drastically drop. So coming out here, I knew I would not have a job. The move itself, was tough. We still haven't 100% moved everything of ours. In general, moves are horrible. Trying to come up with income stream, just a side hustle, whatever, not fun. In an area that just does not have a lot of business opportunities. As I was told by the guy who installed our solar, he said either create a need or fill a need. Unfortunately, in this area, if I wanted to fill a need, it would be a handyman, electrician, plumber, things like that, contractor, building, medical professional. That is a need. Pretty much everything else, not in need. Some of the things I tried, I did photography in the military as a fun hobby, and I also photographed weddings on bases to generate some money, and I kept the business going for years. In Wisconsin, I photographed predominantly high school seniors. I photographed thousands over the years, and I was pretty good at it, and I did it full-time for almost, 10 years maybe, and then got out of it, and it kind of became a side hustle, and until even when we moved. And so when I moved here, I transitioned. I still had a business website that had pretty good, traffic going to it and stuff. Changed the address, tried promoting a little bit out in this area, and nothing. Just nothing. I think my prices were too high. I should have pivoted and adjusted, because they didn't need to be that high. And it's still on the back burner, but because I've got thousands of dollars of photography equipment, it's still generally good. Filming this channel on photography equipment, that just side hustle did not work. Looked into substitute teaching. I did get signed up for substitute teaching, but what is a substitute teacher? It's a substitute. And how often do they need a substitute teacher? Not very often. So that's another one of those that just not as in demand. I tried the surplus, still doing it. It's feast or famine. I mean, just to give you an example, I haven't sold anything in a month. So what does that tell you? It's tough. It's very tough. The only constant, the bugs are out here again. The only constant has been YouTube, and YouTube's the same thing, feast or famine. I'm still doing the YouTube because I've got a lot of time invested in it. It gives me something to do. It's fun. I mean, I probably will keep doing it until it's no longer fun. Thank goodness the cost of living is low here, because I really don't need to work, but it's one of those, we've always had that, if I want something fun, I want to buy a gun, I want to buy a four-wheeler, a Bronco, I have to do it with money that I've earned on a side hustle. And I'm not driving a Bronco. I don't even know if I could buy a toy Bronco right now. So the less things you own, the less things you need to maintain, and the less things you need to worry about. And I've done this before, and in my life I've moved by myself. This is the first big move as being a married adult. Throughout my life, I've moved and left family. I was in the military. I moved to Oregon. I moved, in the military, I was all over the world. But I always seemed to come back to Wisconsin. And when we did this move, this is one thing that could either be a negative, positive, however you want to look at it. This move was a one-way move. What do I mean by that? We sold our old house for this, bought our new house for this, all that extra, you know, got rid of the old more, you know, just, it worked out. A little bit of money went in the bank, but for the most part, we have zero debt right now. But if we wanted to go back to Wisconsin, we could not afford it without going massively into debt. It's just, the houses there, the prices there are just astronomical. I would never want to go back for the sole reason that the property we had for that area was absolutely perfect. We could not top the property we had. It's just, you can't even find a property like that less than $1 million. You just could never get it again. It's just gone. So that's one of those things, like, you just can't even think like, oh, I miss back in Wisconsin, I want to go back. We just can't. It's out of mind. It's, this property is, this is ours now. We need to make it work. And it has been working. It's been great. But we do miss friends and family. We've had family and friends come and visit us. In this area we're at, people are very self-sufficient. They do socialize, but most people out here love being home. They love their property. There's times I don't see people for like a week. So if you ever run into me, I'll jibber jabber like you won't believe now, because I don't see people and I don't talk. I used to go to work every day, chit chat with coffee, you know, talk. Now it's just Jen and I and the animals. You know, we talk to the goats, we talk to the dog, talk to the bugs. So it's that's a little bit difficult. And a lot of people don't realize that. I did a video on that because, you know, everybody's like, oh, I want to move to the country, I want to move to the country. And if you're a social person, you really have to go out of your way to find things to do. Luckily, we live in an area that has lots of things going on. We have lots of outdoor hiking. We have a lot of functions in the town closest to us, and we go to those, you know, just to chit chat with people, socialize. When I go to town, you know, go to the hardware store, whatever, I know people now, which is really nice. It's a small town, so everybody knows you. You just don't see them as often, if that makes any sense. But you do run into people often. My wife just bought something on Facebook Marketplace, sent me to go pick it up. That person sent her husband to go pick it up, and we knew each other. It was just kind of funny. What have the positives been? We love the seclusion. Our old property, we had 40 acres on one of the busiest commuter roads in Wisconsin. I mean, it's just nonstop traffic. Here, every once in a while, I can hear, you know, a truck off in the distance. Other than that, it's quiet. I would say 90% of the time. At night, it's quiet 90% of the time. I mean, it's just, you can see the star. I mean, there's no light pollution. It's just, we are literally living on top of a mountain in a cabin in the woods. I mean, it's just awesome. But yet we're not too far from civilization, within an hour from a Walmart. You know, Amazon delivers out here. It doesn't deliver in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. It's usually within a week. So you got to take that into consideration. When we were in Wisconsin, 90% of the time we didn't leave our property. It's just we could hear everything around us and kind of see cars and, you know, you just knew you were not in the country. And that area is just going to constantly get more crowded, more expensive. Like, I just cannot believe the taxes, the difference in taxes. In Wisconsin, like, our taxes in 10 years, you could buy a Bronco with what you pay in taxes for 10 years. A nice Bronco, a higher trim level than I'm looking at. So here, you can't even, your taxes in 10 years, maybe it'll, you know, buy a set of tires, you know, for the Bronco. I mean, just as in a comparison. Cost of living is a big deal. And you need to figure, God willing, we're going to live to an older age, and that's a big expense. You know, you don't want to, you know, be on a fixed income, retired, and, you know, paying, you know, $7,000 to $10,000 a year in taxes. That's ridiculous. I mean, that's not sustainable. Needs versus wants. Here, there's a lot more. It's just a need, not really a want. You're not impressing anybody. It was a little bit of a humble brag in Wisconsin, saying like, oh, we've got 40 acres, because that in that area was like, you got to be a millionaire to have that kind of acreage. And here, it's no big deal. Like, everybody has acreage. Everybody has a four-wheel drive vehicle. You know, everybody has a homestead. Everybody, you know, is a prepper. Everybody, you know, it's not a big deal out here, which is kind of neat, because we fit in now. Nobody is impressing anybody, except when you ask about land, because apparently we're still the only people that only have one plot of land. Everybody else here has their homestead, has rental cabins, has, you know, a plot of land there, you know, plot of land there. So we're not land barons of Arkansas yet, or, you know, titans of property. out here, but it's just kind of nice, not trying to impress, like you don't even realize it when you're in this, it's like one of those things like I have broken out of that habit. It used to always be titles and, like when I would meet people, oh, what do you do? What do you do for a living? That's my way of like ranking you. And here, people generally don't ask that. It's, hey, what's your name? Hey, howdy, the bugs. It's not like, oh, I'm a blah, 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 Nobody uses their title out here. It doesn't matter. So it's kind of a neat thing. But at the same time, it's hard to get away from that. You meet somebody like, oh, hey, how do oh, where do you work? Oh, I work at blah, 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 blah. And oh, I work at, yeah, I'm the, VP of marketing. Oh, I'm the, director of operations. It's like, it's just, and it's one of those. And then, and then if somebody, says like, oh, I work in the plant, it's kind of like, oh, you're not, it was just weird. Back in Wisconsin, there was this almost like a caste system, and it's just bizarre. Yeah, I don't miss that aspect at all. And every once in a while I catch myself because somebody asked me the other day, like, oh, what did you used to do? And I was like, oh, blah, 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 like expecting, and then I was like, yeah, but, yeah. And then I just said, yeah, but that was a long time ago, and it's kind of like when I still wear a lot of military. I'm proud of the military, and that was a long time ago. The last time I wore a uniform was 2008. Which in my mind is not a long time ago, but it's a long time ago. And sometimes I still get thrown off. In this area, not a lot of veterans, believe it or not, but a lot of people, when they see the hat or whatever, and they ask if I was in the military, I'm expecting them to say like, oh, I was in the, and they're just like, oh, thank you for your service. So it's kind of nice. It kind of catches me off guard because my wife gets mad at me because I don't like to use my, if they're doing a free thing for military discount, I don't like that. I didn't join the military to get a discount. And it's funny because when I sell surplus, somebody once asked me, oh, do you give a military discount? I'm like, no, because 99% of my customers I'd have to give a discount to. So, and the margin is so small that it's just not there. The best way I can describe living out here would be living like it's 50 years ago, but with Wi-Fi. So would I do it again? In a heartbeat. It just feels like home now out here. I've heard things and people have problems with people out here, and I haven't had any issues. Knock on, I gotta find some wood to knock on wood, but it's been good. Crime, there's some, but it's so much lower. When I drive around here, I feel bad sometimes because you drive and everybody waves, and sometimes I'm on it and I wave back, but sometimes I'm just zoned out and I'm like, oh man, I forgot to wave back. I hope they don't, because everybody's friendly here. You pull over on the side of the road, somebody's gonna pull over and see if you need help. If you need jumper cables or whatever, somebody will help you if there's people around. I just did a video on that, on the booster for jumping your car, because a lot of times there's nobody around. But when there are people around, they're very helpful. But if you're thinking of quitting your job, moving to the mountains and all that, do some research. But in general, it's been a good thing. Like the prepper of me. Okay, here, we'll get into this one too, because, I'm a prepper. You could say I watched Red Dawn as a kid. It changed me, and I've always, out here, it's so weird because, I still talk to a lot of people back in the world, as we say, and they're, oh, the America's collapsing and this and that, the economy, things are happening. The world is crazy right now. I believe we're in the decline of America. We've peaked and we're going down. And, look at Rome. It didn't fail it didn't fall in a day. It took some time, and we're on that descent. Might be my lifetime, maybe not, I don't know. But I'm not gonna worry about it. The one thing I've noticed out here that it didn't occur to me before the move, and I only worry and stress out about things in my control. If it's not in my control, I can't do anything about it, and why worry about it? I'm watching some YouTube videos at night about the decline of America, America's collapsing, the dollar's, devaluing, this and that, and it's like, I can't do anything about it. But I can freeze dry some more food. If I see something on sale in bulk food, I'll buy it. I can plant another garden. I can do more catchment and storage of water. We just got more chickens the other day. Just things that we can control. Thanks again for following along. No idea what's in store in the future. No idea. So, but all I know is the weather is so much nicer. I'm leaving it there. Bye. Till next time. Bye. Big camera. I'm still waiting for the temperature in my water to be perfect. It's still warming up. And then end it there. Thanks. Like and subscribe. I gotta support this shirt. It was a gift. And I love it. I do. So thanks again.